What's up, Internet? Okay, I have to do some explaining here before we get into it. And I've actually already done this. There's some time travel nonsense involved. The point is, I'm from the future. Okay, no, I'm not. But, I recorded an episode of Pokemon, just yesterday. And, one of the big things about it was I got a new computer. I'm trying to sort of figure it out as I go. I just hit the table, sorry. But yesterday I had to go through this huge crisis of, for whatever reason, my SD recording equipment stopped working. And then I managed to, through some arcane, driver reinstallation, get it to work. Just as soon as I was finished with that video, it stopped working, in a completely different reason. I tried to record this exact video, and it got, super, super jerky, and I just couldn't use that. So, about a whole day later of trying a bunch of different stuff, we are now recording on a completely different program, OBS, which I've never used before, so hopefully this works out. I mean, if you're listening to this, evidently it did work out, but my point is, if this looks different, the quality's lower because I had to use composite instead of S-video. If anything looks weird or just doesn't quite work as well as it used to, there's going to be a lot of fine-tuning as I figure out what the hell I'm doing, because I have not done that yet. I'm very much learning as I go here. But anyway, welcome to the third episode of this, where we're exploring Page 2 with Power Blade 2, the sequel to Power Blade. Also, I think that's a Taito logo that got cut off at the bottom. I think it was Taito that made Power Blade, but this is a sequel to a very, very good game with an excellent soundtrack that, well, I don't think this one's as good. I was never really good with Power Blade to begin with, but I just don't think this one's as good. But this is a lot better than what I was getting last night. Seriously, it was stuttering all over the place. So this is good. But we're going to have the trade-off of the colors not being quite as good, the sprites being a little bit more blurry, and I'm sorry about that, but it's presently what I can do, so it's kind of what I'm doing. Anyway, Power Blade 2, you got a boomerang. You play a guy named, I believe it's Nova, and you've got a boomerang that you can charge up and get stronger, and actually, I don't think I've played this as much as the original Power Blade, and I never played the original all that much either, but the original had mech suits and stuff, and the original was all about every area having a secret computer head to go blow up or something. It's been a while since I played Power Blade, but it's pretty good, aside from all the death. These games were not easy, nor am I exceptionally good at old school NES platforming. So, I'm willing to admit I'm terrible. What's your excuse? Person watching this? That you're watching and not actually controlling? A likely excuse. But you've got a power bar that sort of delineates how strong your boomerang throws are. And, you know, it's not a bad platformer by any means or measure. It feels like it's sort of in that camp of Kabuki Quantum Fighter or what was its I can't even think of what the English name was, but in Japan it was called Gun Deck, which was a sort of vaguely Ninja Gaiden-esque platformer. It's not a top of the line, top rate platformer, but it's definitely not a bad one either. Despite what you're seeing, which is just my lack of experience and skill, and still getting used to my monitor, that's my excuse. Cheeseburgers. But I also don't think the music was quite as memorable as the original. Oh, that was another game I would kind of consider in that not quite AAA, but desperately wanting to be, was Shatterhand. That was a good game too. That was one thing I noticed between the original Power Blade and this one, though, is the first one, I was ducking and I did not get through that. I guess I had to slide. Whoops. Let's try a different area, since I think I still have a couple of minutes. Let's try stage 2. But the original one, it really kicked off with big, open, like, outside stages, whereas, from what I recall, this one is typically, like, inside stages, which feels a little bit less... less forgiving, less good, less free-flowing, it feels like. Still really bloody difficult platforming, though. And you know, I like that. I'm not good at it, but I like it. Slide. So we're basically playing Guile in the future armed with a boomerang. In the Japanese version, or at least the Japanese version of the predecessor game, you played basically Mega Man with a boomerang, if I recall. Whereas in this one you play as, like, Guile. Slide, slide, throw, slide, throw, slide. Oh, I see. I didn't quite understand what the profile of this level was. I didn't get that it was scrolling downward. That's kind of the thing about these games. Some of them are just really tough. Like, they're rewarding when you beat them, and they're really well-made games, but some of them just... They take a while to, like, get what they're about. And I would say the level design to this is definitely very much in that sort of... It takes a sec to quite figure out what's going on. And I think next death, we will do a reset of shame. Slide, slide, throw, slide, throw, slide. Okay, go down this time. I got this. Now I probably have to wait because the first Power Blade was very much drop off the screen and you're dead. It's one of those things where you had to use a ladder to get out of vertical scrolling areas, or you'd die trying to drop down to an area below. I think Rygar was like that as well. That was a fun game too, from what I recall. Whoa, a little close there. I do like the background though. It's like heavily animated. It looks really nice. Slide. Okay, so there's platform. Throw, and slide. Slide to victory. Oh, I see how it is. Just gonna slip through here. Crap. Okay, reset. Next we go to Final Fight 2, a game I wasn't aware was on the NES. And that's because it's Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Oh god. Oh god. Now, fun thing about this game, and a lot of other games that are similar to it, is people really like to attribute these games to being LJN games. They're not. In fact, LJN only made a total of 4 games, and I believe only one of them made it to North America. That was the X-Men NES game, which, yes, was a horrible piece of garbage, but they didn't actually make games, they just published a shit ton of them, and they were, well, pretty much all bad, but I find it weird that people attribute LJN to making games when it wasn't a thing they did. But this is Terminator 2, convoluted beat-em-up platformer thing. Okay. And not a very good game. Although I do like the rocking haircuts these guys have. Whoa. Okay. And then after a little while this shows up. Use arrows to locate targets, which if I recall are literally like here, so. Yeah, I got it. Punch, 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 punch. Just gonna keep running. Run and punch. Okay, let's dodge him. Dodge him. Can we scroll the screen anymore? Ow, no we can't. Don't want to get surrounded in these games. That's typically a bad situation. Keep running to the right. Jump the bike. The nice thing is, the bikes do at least give you some time to react, because you can kind of hear them coming. Okay, let's jump him. Let's deal with you guys. Punch the ever-living hell out of these glam metal dorks. That is one thing I kind of wish about this game, is like they gave you more health, because it feels like you're very vulnerable, and you're supposed to be like the Terminator, right? You're like a killer assassin android from the future. Well, you were in the first game anyway, or rather, the first movie. Go, go! Okay. And that's it. And we can continue here, so I guess we will for a little bit. Jump. Okay. There we go. I find it kind of weird how small the Terminator is, though. Like, I would think for, like, a game to be accurate to the Terminator, you'd want to have, like, a sprite that's kind of the size of, going over to the Sega side for a little bit, Shinobi, which kind of took up, like, a quarter of the screen. I mean, I guess here you take up almost half the screen, but you're still so small. And that's just a matter of, like, the perspective of the screen framing. Punch. It's pretty mindless. I've certainly played worse licensed games for sure, but this one's hardly good. Let's try taking out this guy one more time. Also, how's there just like this random guy that's bigger than the Terminator? A guy who looks like a very large Austrian bodybuilder. Like, I just don't see it happening. Also, some indication of how much health the enemy had would be nice, but let's reset. Double Dragon 3. Now this one is typically found on a lot of multi-carts. Or rather, Double Dragon 3 is... And this one is actually Double Dragon 3. Sometimes you'll find like games that are labeled like Double Dragon 6, and they're like this weird knockoff game. They're a bit weird. But Billy has defeated the Shadow Warriors. And this is typically considered to be the worst of the Double Dragon games. I've actually never played a lot of Double Dragon. I played a lot of that remake, or remake, the re-envisioning of it, I guess. I think Way Forward, which was Double Dragon Neon. That was a fun game. But these old NES Double Dragon games, they just seem a little not super interesting to me, if that makes sense. Punch. But very punch heavy, but not necessarily all that great. Okay, let's go. I can't speed up text boxes. Throw! I don't know, it just feels a little too clumsy for my liking. But we're also talking about a guy who primary beat 'em ups of choice back in the day were like Streets of Rage, and, like, Turtles in Time, and the like. It just feels a little too clumsy for my tastes. And I mean, even the NES had better beat 'em ups than this. Like TMNT, the arcade game, that was an amazing beat 'em up that I think played a lot more smooth and a lot faster than this game. Ow. Throw. Oh, come on. There's even like a really good Final Fight game on the NES that played better than this, but that's because it was trying to go for like an absurdist sort of super deformed chibi style, which I think worked in its favor, definitely. Oh. Game over. Ugh. Yeah, I think we'll cut that one there, because I don't think I'm getting much further than that. That is not a particularly good game. Next we have Alien. Again, got the LJN logo, but it was made by Probe. Although this one's a little bit more upfront about it. And it's Alien 3, which... that's a nice shot. I think I've played this before. I remember it not being all that good, and it was just kind of confusing. But I remember it was kind of true to an Alien experience in the sense that you had to really manage your resources, and aliens were ridiculously scary and powerful. I like that. Okay, so I gotta activate that, and I think you have to collect key cards and stuff as well. Ow, as well as fall downstairs, because of course you do. Because I'm not going back up there. Ow, ow, ow. Yeah, it's fine. I'm actually not that super familiar with the Alien franchise. I saw the one Alien that had like the weird alien-human hybrid and had Winona Ryder in it. And I've been told that's the one not to watch, so that's kind of my Alien experience. Oh, I have played Alien Isolation though, but I was too freaked out to even get to a point where there was an alien. I'm kind of a horror wimp like that. I chalk it up to all like the nightmares I had when I was a kid. I'm kind of just sort of a wimp when it comes to horror. Jump. It feels like the screen scrolls just a little too fast, you know, like it doesn't scroll in time with your character. You can get really far to one side before it scrolls, and it just gets kind of claustrophobic on one side, and then an alien will come out and they'll just run into you before you can even react, and that sucks for sure. But it doesn't look like a bad game. I mean, it looks pretty nice, relatively speaking. Ow. And to be fair, this is probably the farthest I've ever gotten in an Alien game. Of all two that I've played. I don't have a way to open that, do I? Actually, that gives me something to complain about if I can talk about something a little bit more modern in terms of gaming. Is Alien Isolation pointed out something that has never made sense to me, and that's that whole like download ready to play nonsense. Like a game will download like 20% and it'll say it's ready to play, but it's not. Like, why is that a feature? And I bring it up because when I downloaded Alien Isolation, it said it was ready to play, but it was still downloading. It was like, okay, well, how much can I play? And it's like, you can play the little nonsense spaceship before the game actually starts, which means you get to sit through about 2 minutes of dialogue, and that's about it. And then you have to wait another like 4 hours for the game to download. It's like, great. That's such a waste of time. think we're about out of time. Yeah. Time limits. I think that's a problem this game has. It's like, okay, you can walk me through the level, that's all well and good, but if you're not going to give me time to actually explore it, it feels like I'm not going to really know what's going on. Oh, okay, so that's where that guy is. Now the question is, how do we get to that guy? Do we have to go through a different tunnel? Like, genuinely, how am I supposed to get over there? Okay, so there's a face hugger that's dead. That's nice, but... So, the guy was over here, I think. Okay, you're dead. Whoa. How do I get back up those stairs? Nope, I guess not. Okay, so that's one guy. Oh, that was the same guy. Okay. We might actually beat this level then. I want to see if I can. I should be able to. I think you gotta, like, rescue all the prisoners and then get to, like, that one door. But it's like, you have to get so close to that edge that it's just really uncomfortable to actually, like, try and accomplish anything. That goes up to where we've already been. Which basically means you have to waste ammo just, like, shooting off-screen, hoping that you kill whatever's gonna probably run into you. And it just feels poorly designed. And to be fair, it is a licensed title. They almost entirely all were. But, I don't know. It feels like this game could potentially be not entirely horrible. Oh crap. Haha, I've got another weapon. You've got nothing. Although I am running out of time, I should really rectify that. And that's the problem, it's like, well, now I've got a time limit, I have to run just to get to the end, but at the same time I gotta find all these people, which are not giving me time to explore because time limit. And also, I can't exactly rush because you're telling me I have to be cautious about all the enemies that are gonna, like, run directly into me. It's like everything about this game is antithetical to the fact they want you to, you know, explore and take your time and understand where you're supposed to go and what you're supposed to do. Okay, so that's the thing. We still have a minute, and we have to find one more prisoner. There he is. So, we've got just over a minute to get to the end, and I hope you know where you're going, because if you don't, you're probably gonna die again. I think we are gonna make it this time, which is nice. I've played this a little bit, like, I've played maybe 30-40 seconds of it, as you do with these multi-carts. You don't typically play them for very long, but I've genuinely never gotten this far. And even knowing more or less where I need to go, it only affords me like 20 seconds left on the clock. That seems bad, is a good word for it. But that's the first level of Alien 3. The furthest I've ever gotten in an Alien game. And now it looks like we're in the same level again. So we're just going to reset and go on to the last game here, which is Ninja Gaiden 2. This is a good game. Tecmo presents in 1990. Ninja Gaiden 2. And we're going to skip a bunch of anime nonsense. And it's, you know, it's Ninja Gaiden. It's a really tough as nails platformer, but it's a ridiculously well crafted one, all the same. And this is really all I know Ninja Gaiden from is these multi-carts. Because I didn't have an NES back in the day, so I couldn't play, like, original Ninja Gaiden carts. I've never received an original Ninja Gaiden cart or anything. I never got a chance to play either the arcade version or the Super Nintendo compilation, but I've heard that's a pretty rough version of it too, so I guess that's kind of a blessing. The only other Ninja Gaiden game I've played is that horrible Yaiba Ninja Gaiden zombie thing, which is weird. I've been trying to get the Xbox one, though, because I've heard that game's really good, but I've not found a copy that's remotely affordable, so that's still off the table. And this game plays by what I like to call Power Blade rules, which I mentioned earlier, which is you can't scale a vertical screen by falling off the underside of it. That still classifies as dead. And this is one thing I've always hated about Ninja Gaiden, is you just can't climb up that. You have to, like, jump up and then sort of finagle your way over it. I think there could have been a little bit better control in terms of ascending platforms like that. But it's a good game. It's got your little ninja buddies, which I think was... when I first saw that, I thought that was like a player 2 option or something, like, because I only ever saw like one ninja shadow, which might not even show up because of interlacing, my apologies, but I've always liked the ninja clone ability. I've always thought that was a really cool power. Now we got a boss. And case in point, my ninja shadows, which might not be shown, I apologize again. I don't have S-video, and I don't think I've got a way to fix that. If I do, I'll try and post, but those ninja clones just completely wreck shop. And hey, it's the guy from Power Blade. And Ninja Gaiden's always had a really good soundtrack, I think. And also the worst birds ever. But this is just awesome platforming at its best. Ridiculously tough, but super rewarding when you can do it. Stuff like this, and stuff like Ghouls and Ghosts and the like, they're just fantastic games. And I think they're kind of quintessential to the whole NES experience, I think. It's just, you gotta have hard platformers that are just super frustrating, but also ridiculously rewarding. Even if you have to beat the game twice, and it's just for a really sad single screen with, like, bad English on it. Because I think that, too, is part of the whole, traditional NES experience. Also, this is one of my favorite songs in the NES library, I think. And I think we'll leave it here, as we almost get blown off a cliff. And I'll see you next time, while we'll tackle the second half of page 2 of the CoolBoy 401 multicart and explore whether or not it was worth the money I paid for it. But so far, even though I'm awful at it, this little outing of platforming beat-em-up goodness, except for Alien and, like, Double Dragon 3, so far pretty good. I mean, Ninja Gaiden 2 alone, hell, this music alone has made this entire page thus far worth it. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Peace out, Internet.